Hi, I'm Keith and welcome to another Home Media Minefield, helping you with information to navigate the complexities of home cinema and home media entertainment. And for today's episode, I'm going to look at the Blu-ray release of Queen and Slim, 2019's crime drama starring Daniel Kaluuya and Jodie Turner-Smith. Now, before I get into this, what I'm looking at today is what was released here in the UK as an HMV exclusive Blu-ray release of this film. There was a 4K UHD version released in the United States, which also included a digital download of the film, but unfortunately here in the UK it is only currently available in HD on Blu-ray. So if you wanted to get a 4K UHD edition, the UHD discs are not region coded, so you could pick one up from the US. However, it's unlikely that the digital download would work with that. I just thought I'd mention that on the off-go before we actually dig into this review. Now, with regards to the picture, although this film was shot on 35mm film, the digital intermediate was 2K for some of the invisible visual post effects that were done on this film. So the only advantage that one would probably have with the 4K UHD edition would be in the high dynamic range area. Now, the film itself does have quite a wide colour palette in terms of costumes, locations, vehicles, etc. So I would imagine that that does probably look superior on the 4K UHD edition. But having said that, the Blu-ray HD version, the 1080 version, is indeed very sharp, very clear, and really does pop off screen in a good way. So that is fine, and it's also obviously presented in its 2:39:1 aspect ratio. With regards to the audio, again, the Americans get a full Dolby Atmos mix, whereas the Blu-ray here comes with a Dolby 7.1 mix. To be fair though, for most home cinema systems, the 7.1 is probably more than adequate, and I didn't notice any issues at all with the audio here, all of which is supported by a fantastic soundtrack throughout. Now, this disc comes with a very impressive array of special features. There are some featurettes and an audio commentary, both of which offer a lot of insight into the production and the themes and issues that this film deals with. So you do get a very rounded package on this, with some impressive special features. First up is a 5-minute featurette called A Deeper Meaning, where director Melina Matsoukas and writer Lena Waithe, who also serve both as producers on this film, talk in some depth about the other themes and issues that this film deals with and puts it in some social context. It's very good to see this. It's very good to hear them speak about everything and how they went about writing these characters and what these characters represent within the film. They kind of touch on the fact that one represents Martin Luther King and the other Malcolm X when dealing with the race issues on this. And it also talks about a lot of the black culture that this film follows. So that is very good. This is all also interspersed with a lot of behind the scenes photography, showing the cast and crew on set working together. Next up is Melina and Lena, which the director and writer talk about how they worked together, how they collaborated to develop these characters and come up with this story. So again, they go into some depth about their process working together and what's inspired them both as individuals before this collaboration. How they were very much on the same page with regards to some of the themes that they wanted to deal with in this film, but also how they challenged one another to push the envelope in terms of both the character development and the visual style of this film. So again, another interesting little extra included on this. Next up is Off the Script, which is essentially a script to screen comparison of the last scene. So Lena Waithe reads along the descriptions from her script along with the actual scene itself, and we can see the subtle differences in dialogue, etc. But essentially what was on the page ends up in the film. Of course, like with any extras, please don't watch this until you've seen the film, because of course this covers the last scene of the film and therefore would completely spoil the story for you if you hadn't already seen it. But I don't imagine anyone out there watches special features before they've seen the film, right? Anyway, I just thought I'd warn you. So, but that's another interesting little featurette just to see the differences between the page and the stage, as it were. So that's worth checking out also. But of course, once you've seen the film. Next is a short behind the scenes featurette called On the Run with Queen and Slim. This features interviews with the cast and a lot of behind the scenes footage of the crew working with the Panavision 35mm cameras, using camera rigs with the vehicles. Quite a lot of this film is like a road movie and therefore involves a lot of driving, so you see a lot of that. You also see filming locations which range from the absolute freezing cold of Cleveland through to the warmth of New Orleans, which also doubled for Florida as well in the film. And it also features interviews with key crew members and the main cast members. So again, a fairly interesting, in-depth overview of the production. And finally, the best feature on this entire disc is the audio commentary by director Melina Matsoukas and writer Lena Waithe, who also serve as producers on this. They talk very candidly about the entire film process, right from the writing right the way through to the release. They talk about all of their inspirations with this. They talk about the themes, the issues that the films deal with, the various cultural references that they've sprinkled throughout the film. They talk about everything from the costume design through the selection of cast that they used, through some of the character changes that they made in the scripting process. They talk about various Easter eggs in the film. For example, the gravestone of Queen's mum. The dates on that are actually Whitney Houston's life dates. So they mention things like that. They also talk about the hidden visual effects in the film. In one scene that features a field of horses, they had to have a wrangler with every single horse dressed in blue with blue reins that they digitally removed in the post-production process. 95% of the film was filmed in real locations, and how they had to change the color grade to try and make New Orleans stand in for Florida at the end of the film. So they talk about all of those sort of things. It's very in-depth, very comprehensive, and a very interesting listen indeed. Yeah, I would highly recommend this film to anyone out there that hasn't seen it. So that brings me to the end of another home media minefield. If you did indeed find this information useful and interesting, then please do like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you never miss anything. And please do share and spread the word about this channel. If there's anything regarding home cinema, home media, physical media, etc. that you'd like me to answer or cover, then please put it down in the comments below. Likewise, if there's any particular films that you'd like me to cover in this series, please do mention that and I will add it to the schedule. But in the meantime, thank you so much for your time today and listening, and I will speak to you on the next one.